Namaskar, my respected brothers and sisters, and all my fellow men who believe in themselves. Today we are celebrating the birth anniversary of great Indian monk Swami Vivekananda. At the outset, let me appreciate and thank Mr. S.M. Bandyopadhyay, who has been relentlessly working on observing this occasion every year. In fact, Swami Vivekananda has got a very special role in our life, particularly in context of today, when we are passing through a stage of turmoil and the country is under unprecedented circumstances. We have to remember the life and the period of Swami Vivekananda and what were the conditions of the country and the Hindus during that period. And more or less, same situation is existing today. Many of us remember him for many things, but let me vouchsafe that every Indian remembers him for his opening sentence, "My brothers and sisters of America." And no sooner these words came out of his mouth, all the elite gathering in the Parliament Hall of all world religions held at Chicago on 11th September 1893 rose to offer him an standing ovation which continued for several minutes. And this only opening remark made him unforgettable. Let me also vouchsafe that he was not the first person to say brothers and sisters. In fact, he was the fourth. Three persons before him had also addressed American gathering with the same opening words, but they could not arouse that much of response as the great Indian monk Swami Vivekananda did. There is a reason, and that valid reason is these words came not from his lips, they came straight from his heart. Before the conference began, he was in his states for over a month, and those were the days when Indians were treated very poorly, and he had faced all sorts of circumstances while living in Chicago and around. But despite all this humiliation, all the bad treatment given to him because of his being from a slave country, because of his being a Hindu monk, but when he rose to address, his mesmerizing voice made the difference. The world was astonished. People were taken aback, and the resounding voice which emanated from the mouth of Swamiji made everybody spellbound. And from that day onward, as long he was in United States of America, people were fond of meeting him, listening him. The World Religious Conference continued for several days, and every day in one hall or the other hall, he delivered his lectures, and every time he made the audience spellbound. Vivekananda's name is not new to us. Every Indian is fully familiar with him, and there are many words which every one of us remember. The word brothers and sisters has gone so deep in us that we always remember him for that. But while addressing, he also spoke, I am here to convey you the message of my master. Never before him anybody has said something like this, that he was delivering the message of his master. People always post to deliver their own messages. And the other word which we all know is arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. It was relevant during the times he lived, and it is much more relevant today when we are very much confused and we don't know where our goal is and how to reach. Whenever we use something associated with Swamiji, always the word that comes to our mind is Vedanta, the Vedanta philosophy. Our Hindu scriptures consist of Vedas, Puranas, and Upanishads. Upanishads are the essence of Vedas, which are the prime source of knowledge. And word Vedanta comes from that. But today I don't want to delve into the details of Vedanta and its philosophy, because that is such a vast area that unless we enter the arena of spirituality, it becomes very difficult to go into that. And the circumstances which exist today and under which we are living, they are forcing us to look into the practical aspects. Vedanta word for us or for Swamiji or for our scriptures, it never recognizes sin. It recognizes only error. And what is the biggest error that any human being does is when we feel we are weak, we are unfit, we cannot do this, we are not having enough capacity to perform. These are the things where our Vedanta comes. My dear friends, let us remember that neither we are sinners, nor we are weak, nor there is any goal that can't be achieved. And that is the crux of Vedanta. And we shall be living in the realm of This definition, this connotation of Vedanta. Swamiji was born in 1863 when we were slaves. Britishers were ruling, and even before Britishers, for over 800 years, the invaders from Middle East, from Middle Asia, so many Muslims, Mughals, all sorts of people had ruled over us. And every Hindu had been humiliated, and more or less we had forgotten not only our dignity, glory, but even our survival and existence. In such a period of time, Swamiji gave to the world what Hinduism is, what Hindus are, and what is their Vedanta philosophy. And that philosophy, as explained by him, gave a new life to all the Hindus in India to arise, awake, and do something to free ourselves from the yoke of foreigners. Somehow or the other, the messages, the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, they got diluted with the passage of time in the independent India. If we trace a little of our history, we will find that after 1893, a number of great leaders who came to our freedom struggle, they were not only great, but they struggled a lot, and they struggled selflessly. They struggled to help everybody to see that every Indian comes up and India becomes not only independent but great. And this trend continued till 1930. But gradually, as Gandhi entered the arena, he went on diluting his thoughts, his principles, and by the time we became independent, possibly the teachings and thoughts of Swamiji had gone in oblivion. And when Nehru took over, again we are given a feeling that we are a race not worth. We have been subjugated for many years. We have lost our vanity. And everything that we have, the first right is of somebody else who forcibly ruled over us. And by passing every day, this feeling became deeper and deeper in our minds, and we Hindus went on forgetting our glory. But time never remains constant. It changes, it changed. And again, this awakening is coming up that we are members of the great race, which was there on the half of the world. The 13 countries around us today, what we call them as Afghanistan, Iran, Balochistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, Indonesia, all Burma, all these countries, they were our part and they were all Hindus. We still know that biggest Hindu temple is in Cambodia, Angkor Wat temple. But gradually, with the onslaught of others, Hinduism got diluted. And that dilution has put us in a bad shape. In order to come out of it, again we have to remember the resounding voice of Swamiji. Awake, arise, and stop not. This race has to awake, it has to arise, and it has to march. If we feel we are Hindus, we have our own culture, our own values, our own history, and we have to create a new history, we have to march. There is no other option, there is no alternative, and there is no time for sleeping anymore. Following the advice of Swamiji, our duty is to encourage everyone in the struggle to live up to his own highest and strive at the same time to make this ideal as near as possible to the truth. It is not that if I grow, our race or country grows. We have to help everyone to reach his highest ideal, highest goal. But while doing so, we have to be very careful that these goals and ideals are transformed into reality. We don't leave it halfway, we achieve them. A man, as per Swamiji, attains immortality when he is not disturbed by any material gain. Today's our biggest irony is that we each one are running after material world, and that is making us forget what we are, what is our strength, and which is the place which once we acquired have left. See, everybody has got a limited need, and if we are happy with us with satisfying that need, that can definitely help us attain much higher goal. And that is where Swami Vivekananda and his teachings come to help us. What we are, what our thoughts make us. We are not what our circumstances or what our position or what bosses make us. It is our thoughts, not our words. And therefore, we must dwell on our thoughts. Words are secondary. Unless we think that we are the people who can do, we have done, we will not be able to rise again. Entire power of universe is within us, but unnecessarily we have put our hands before our eyes and we cry it is darkness. Everything is within us. Only thing we have to take it out. We have to act. And we cannot believe in God unless we believe in ourselves. So first of all, as per Vedanta teachings of Swamiji, we have to believe that everything is within us. We have the powers of universe to achieve them, and by helping each other, we can achieve them. And that is where we look forward to solving the problems of today. See, in our political life, two great names are floating in the air these days: Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and Swami Vivekananda. No doubt we know Patel, he was a great fighter, great unifier who made India what India is today. Otherwise, probably for going from Maharashtra to Bengal or Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu, we would have needed visa, and everyone would have been requiring a passport for moving from one place to another. But that great gentleman, he made, he amalgamated 565 states, princely states, and made the India what we have. And what Swami Vivekananda did, he was not a politician, he was a great Hindu monk. He made Hindus spiritually conscious, and he united one soul from the other, one man from the other, one thought from the other, and he made us feel that we are great, we can be great, and we have to make this race a great race. He was spreading the message of his Guru, Ramakrishna Paramhans, and that message was the message of universal brotherhood. We Hindus never wanted to encroach upon anybody's religion. We never wanted to convert anybody to Hinduism. We only gave freedom. If somebody is convinced with us, he can adopt. There is a famous story associated with Swamiji. When he was in the States, one day a lady came. She was very much impressed with his lectures and with all that he explained about Vedanta and Hinduism. And she only said, Swamiji, can you make me Hindu? Swamiji asked, are you a Christian? She said, yes. Are you a real Christian? She said, yes. Then you are a Hindu also. If you are true to your religion, then any religion is yours. Because ultimately every religion leads to Supreme Being. And in order to awaken Hindu race, he cited once during his informal discussions a very simple story. There was a lion cub. Somehow he missed his parents in the jungle and came in the herd of sheep. Sheep fed him, they nurtured him, they nourished him, and this cub grew in the company of sheep. And as he grew, he started behaving like them. He forgot what he was. But one day, he happened to see some other cubs along with their parents, and the way they were behaving, he was astonished how they are behaving and how he is behaving. And then gradually in their company, he went into their company, and gradually he learned that he is not a part of sheep. He is a lion. And Thereafter, he started behaving like lion. This is the condition today. We have to feel, we have to identify, we have to recognize that we are lions and we have to behave like lions. Only then there is path for our emancipation on the earth, a way for our survival, which is survival of the fittest. Today, while celebrating the anniversary of great Swamiji, we have to resolve that we have take up one idea, make that idea the goal of our life, think of it, dream of it, and put all our mind and effort on it, and ultimately realize, achieve that idea. Every person is free to have his own thoughts, own ideas, own goals, but always remember, goal is to be achieved, not to be left half done. And also remember the Vedanta that there is no sin, there is only error, and the error is that I am weak, I cannot achieve, I have got limitation, our resources are not permitting me. So many other LBs. No, Vedanta is very clear. Entire power of the universe is with us. Only we have to awake, arise, and march. So, my dear brothers and sisters, our biggest homage, biggest tribute to great Indian monk and the practical aspect of Vedanta would be that we again awake, arise, and march to make our lives great, our race great, and our country great. Thank you.